Neera, I know that presidential candidates bring out the pandering in all sorts of ways. We certainly see it with Democrats before Latino groups, and it goes on and on. Schindler's List?
I mean, part of it was pandering. Part of it was actually kind of feeding stereotypes, which was more disconcerting to me. I mean, the idea that Jews are good negotiators, etc. I mean, the Times of Israel commented that.
And we should point out, by the way, that you're not Jewish, even though everybody in the world thinks you are.
It's true. I can be offended for other people. It's true. So I think, look, it's disconcerting to me. I mean, I turned to my Republican colleagues on the panel here to say how it
was a little silly, some of these moments. Ben Carson pronounced the name of a terrorist group, hummus, I believe.
Yes. That one was pretty funny.
All we were saying is give Pete a chance. Pizza. Awful.
This is so bad.
You know I like it with the dad puns.
I love the dad puns too. My kids hate it.
I'm competing with Ken Cuccinelli for dad puns.
No, we have a pun off. But, the pandering is an immediate skin crawler. And, while it's terribly awkward to say, you don't want a good friend, get a Jewish friend, it's not a bad. If you're Jewish, that's a compliment.
Right.
It's just a really awkwardly phrased one. Like stumble forward awkward.
But I think it made clear who in that room really understood the issues that Israel is concerned with and who was pretending. For someone like Ben Carson to have lived as long as he has and never heard the word Hamas pronounced back to him is startling. It's remarkable. And
unless he was talking about the threat of hummus.
Chickpeas.
Which is,
my wife
the rogue
acid reflux
dinner every night.
Look, I mean, I think it's bad. I mean, in some ways, we kind of get the chuckles going on. There's something happening where you do have some leading Republicans who just go around offending different groups and apparently don't know it. Donald Trump goes, the blacks love me. Yeah. There's like 4 things wrong with that sentence, and there's only 4 words in it. So, there's something going on here.
Let's talk about a more serious topic, obviously, which is the fact that there was, it now appears to be, an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack in the United States, the worst massacre in the U.S. since Newtown, and it happened the same day that President Obama, it happened before President Obama said that ISIL does not pose an existential threat to the United States, that the homeland has never been more secure. If you were a politician, if you were running for president right now, what would your message be?
Well, we do have something to worry about, which the president has said, but his confidence in dismissing it was really unsettling. It is consistent with the lack of a policy with respect to this whole problem reaching all the way to the Middle East, not just here in the United States. And that lack of focus, of direction, every American sees it, and it's very unsettling. So where does a policy come from? Thankfully, we're going to have a new president in a year, and a little more than a year. And they're all being focused, Republican and Democrat, whether they like it or not, and some of them like it and some of them don't, on these sorts of issues. And we have nowhere to go but up. This president has bottomed out in terms of a complete lack of focus.
Van, I know you disagree with Ken, but obviously the White House feels like President Obama needs to get out there and say something different from what he's been saying because they have this presidential address this evening.
Well, I think there are 2 things. One is sometimes he can sound too lawyerly on this stuff. It is true, ISIS right now is not an existential threat. The Soviet Union, existential threat.
Right.
They're going to wipe us out. Iran with a bomb, with a nuclear bomb, that's an
But people aren't concerned about it being an existential threat. They're concerned about their kids getting killed.
That's my point. So sometimes he's too lawyerly on it. I think now that you have a serious terrorist incident on his watch, he's got to show that he's not just going to talk about the details and the technicalities. He's going to show that he's going to lead this fight in a different way. But I think he was talking more as a lawyer than a leader.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Russia as an existential threat because we all remember when President Obama mocked Mitt Romney for suggesting that. And I think he has relied...
Not Russia today, Soviet Union.
I think he has relied largely on attitude to convince the American people, I got this. Whether it's the threat of Russia, national security, an immigration policy that many people feel is too permissive, I got this. And I think the American people, 70% of them don't think he has a clear plan for ISIS, doesn't feel like he's got this. So I think he needs to come out tonight and stop with the confidence, stop with the this is contained, Republicans are paranoid, and actually acknowledge some of the seriousness of these threats.
Look, I would agree that the country is scared and it's time for the president to really address their concerns and address it directly with the American people. I mean, I actually listened to Marco Rubio this morning, and on the things he was saying we should do, like form a coalition with other Middle Eastern countries to actually have them have more of their boots on the ground. Those are the things we are pursuing. So, I do think the president needs to communicate clearly to the American people what is happening, what we are doing, and additional steps we can take. And I think the truth is he also has to say to the American people that the continual language of political leaders to target Muslims is exactly what ISIS wants. Yeah. And that I think there's goodwill from all Republicans and Democrats to say no to that language. The fact that you have the leading Republican candidate saying we should monitor Muslims is exactly what ISIS wants to hear, and we have to say no to that as well.